Hey you, it's Henry from CarbonCrowd. So we've been getting a lot of questions about our microgreens growing system from different prospective customers. So in this video, I'm going to break down our system in detail, what the components are, and why it's worth purchasing. So, in case you forgot, microgreens are the baby versions of mature vegetables that you're definitely familiar with, like broccoli, kale, cauliflower, peas, arugula, etc., etc. Now, they can provide surprisingly intense flavors and often have vivid colors and textures that are ideal for adding directly into food you're already eating. They can take as little as 1 to 2 weeks to grow with really minimal effort required. So when these plants are in their microgreen stage, they're loaded with disproportionately high levels of vitamins, minerals, and packed with phenolics and glucosinolates, which have astounding health benefits. You know, if you're interested in learning more about the benefits, you can visit the knowledge section of our website. So if you've probably noticed, this system is fairly large and it has capacity for 6 microgreen trays, right? Each tray allows for 8 microgreen grow pads, giving you a total capacity of 42 pads when the system's fully maxed out like it is right here. So sometimes people will be a little intimidated by the height of the system, but you know, we actually do offer some customization in terms of the height. So a lot of people will prefer to have it here, or you can even go down a little bit lower and you'll still have that 6 tray capacity, which we think is ideal. A lot of our customers, you know, they have aspirations of becoming commercial growers themselves, in which case, you know, this system actually offers an excellent starting point to start selling and to grow your business incrementally with the intent of eventually purchasing additional systems as your business grows. Now, with that said, it's not meant just for people who want to sell greens commercially, and it's actually the perfect size system for couples or families that want to seriously incorporate microgreens into their diets for the health benefits. So there are obviously cheaper countertop systems that you can get, but frankly, those aren't going to cut it if you're serious about getting this stuff into your diet in a meaningful way. Now, those smaller systems, they're really more for people that want to use it as a garnish and sort of feel fancy doing it, but they don't really give you enough capacity to allow you to integrate this stuff into your diet in a real meaningful way where you're going to notice the health changes from eating the greens. You know, a couple snips of greens here and there in your meals just isn't really going to do much for you. And you know, those kind of countertop units, they're really just tailored towards people that really want to use it more as a visual aesthetic, like a teeny little topping that they can have maybe once or twice a week on top of one of their meals. You know, this is why we think our system is really perfect for couples and families, especially if you have children or have to deal with picky eaters. You know, since this stuff is incredibly easy to just sort of sneak it into whatever you're already eating without any behavioral change required. And with a system like this, you're going to be able to do that in a significant way. In fact, a lot of our customers are actually moms, and they absolutely love being able to add microgreens to their kids' meals. You know, some of them have actually even started selling a little bit of the greens on the side as sort of a side hustle to help pay the system off over time. So really, you can kind of take it wherever you want to, even if you don't actually have serious aspirations of doing it as a business. You know, a lot of these moms actually have full-time jobs, so it's something that you can do even if you're working full-time. Now, we sometimes do get people asking us about automation and wondering like why our system is relatively low tech and how come we haven't tried to automate the watering. You know, we actually did consider automating the system, but we decided against it because it just massively increases the cost, and it's going to introduce just a bunch of points of failure that are going to come back to bite you, and results just frankly aren't going to be as good as doing it just manually. You know, and at the end of the day, doing it manually is not a big deal because this is really a minimal effort, minimal input system. You know, the seeding process is relatively easy. It's a quick process, and then after that, watering is only going to take you a couple of minutes a day because of how we designed our system. So let's break down exactly what you're getting with the system. You know, so as you can see, the system includes a growing rack, which is where you're going to hang the lights and put your trays. This can be customized, like we said before, to find a height that works for your needs and fits well with your space. So for example, these racks right here are actually taller than what we would normally sell to people. We have a lot of vertical space in our apartment, so we wanted to make sure to use that. So we have extra storage here and down there, but frankly, you could do it a little bit lower if you wanted, if that's what works for your space. And with these racks, what's really convenient is that you can take the the tray out from the short side, which makes watering a breeze because all you have to do is take the tray out, tilt it, and then water just like that. Super easy. Now for our system, we've gone with top of the line, high quality, high density, food safe growing trays that are manufactured right here in the US. Now, there are cheaper alternatives that we could have used, but these are all manufactured overseas, and you just really don't want to use cheap plastic trays as these could leach petrochemicals into your grow, which you really don't want. So even the growing trays that are listed on Amazon as being food safe should really be avoided at all costs, since these overseas manufacturers, they have massive financial incentives to add cheap fillers and harmful additives to boost up their profit margins. And frankly, the Amazon FBA sellers that offer those trays aren't going to be inspecting the factories where they're produced, so you have absolutely no way of knowing if those producers are engaging in harmful practices or not. And since those overseas manufacturers face essentially no legal liability from US citizens, it's a recipe for disaster. And the nice thing about these trays is that they're also used by major pizza chains that have a lot of cash on hand, and the manufacturers would simply never risk adding in fillers because they know that they would be sued, which helps keep you protected. So if you're growing for the health benefits, which is frankly the most sensible reason to grow microgreens, it just doesn't make sense to skimp out on your growing trays, especially since these are going to essentially last you for the rest of your life. So the next component of our system are the lights. So these are custom LEDs that are designed exclusively for our system, and they provide just the right amount of light for the greens with extremely low heat output. So this allows you to use your vertical space really efficiently because you can get the lights really close to your greens without any risk of overheating or burning the plants. Now we could have gone with cheaper compact fluorescent lights as an alternative, but the reality is that you have to consider the overall life cycle costs, which are going to be a lot higher with CFL. So although CFLs are cheaper up front, they cost way more to operate and will be more expensive in the long run. CFLs also just won't last as long. You know, they're going to have to be replaced more frequently than our lights, which is both an added expense and also just a pain in the neck to do. You know, compare that to our LEDs, which can last up to 5 years and come with a warranty. And because our LEDs are super low heat, you know, you can set these up in small rooms, attics, or anywhere where heat buildup from a CFL would pose a problem. And with CFLs, you end up having to pay more to air condition your space, which is just another expense that you don't need, and something that you're not going to have to worry about as much with these very low heat LEDs. So at the end of the day, it does make sense to go with LEDs, and since ours are tailored specifically to these growing trays, you're not wasting any electricity or buying more than what you need. The system's also going to include a lockable pre-assembled power box, which is going to help you avoid the messy and potentially dangerous wiring setups that you see when people daisy chain their CFLs or other lights. The system's going to come with everything that you need to get started. So it's going to include the blackout lids that you're using during germination, 2 smaller trays for giving out samples and for soaking your grow pads, 75 of the grow pads themselves to get started, a pound of quality seeds, bamboo sticks to put in your tray, an automated timer for your light, and free shipping to anywhere in the continental US. So it's pretty much everything that you need to get growing. And we do actually offer a bare bones version of the system that doesn't come with all of those extra bells and whistles and is going to be a little bit cheaper, which might be something that you want to check out. So you can take more control with your life, take control of your health. You know, just take back control. It doesn't have to be some crazy high-tech solution because you have the power and a little bit of effort can do wonders. Something as simple as growing your own microgreens can have a huge ripple effect for you and your family's well-being. And with everything going on right now, there's really never been a better time. So that's all for now. If you have any questions or you want us to help customize the system to your specific needs, feel free to send us an email. But otherwise, get out there and get growing.